Hello, everyone. Welcome to Walking with Spirit. This message today is all about connecting with our ancestors. I've been getting a lot of prompting and downloads and signs and symbols from my ancestors, as well as I just want to say thank you to everybody that has included me into their beautiful universe and dreams and experiences. And because you invited me into your world, this message is coming through me. My ancestors have been reaching out to me, and a lot of others have been experiencing their ancestors in the dream realm. So, over the past 3 or 4 days, the guidance that I've been getting is all week because these days are flying by. The guidance that I have been receiving is to connect with my ancestors and to encourage others to connect with theirs. And this video is about just that journey that I've been through over the last couple of days, and not just my experience that I'm going to share. I'm also going to share other people's experiences so that you can understand or have more clarity about maybe how your ancestors are trying to reach out to you. Um, and the first thing that my ancestors wanted to remind me of is that, it starts from within. So even all of the things that I'm actually working on for next month, I had to actually start from within with them and honoring them. And by doing this, this is a way of honoring them as well. So we start from inside with our spirit and with our spiritual team, and then we allow them to help us to manifest what we want to manifest. That is truly what I've learned over the past 4 or 5 years, especially doing the ancestral work and allowing myself to be an ancestral bridge or be the bridge for my ancestors to speak through me and to guide me or to create that bridge. So, anyway, it's a lot of stuff because it's a lot of stuff happening. So, the container as well, I can put this down now. I just wanted to make sure that the candle was in the video. But light your candles, especially when you want to connect with your ancestors. Light your candle, right? In a spiritual and a physical way, light your candle. So let's begin. Where did this begin? This began last week. I was called up by some friends and who have been traveling since February, and I didn't realize the journey literally until just now. And I looked at the date. So they've been traveling. They've been doing an African road trip. Let's put it that way. And they were traveling. It was two gentlemen, and they've been traveling from one from Austria to Ghana, and the other one from Morocco to Ghana. And it started in February. And since February, as they travel, they'd send me some pictures of where they are and what they're doing. And I've asked them, pick up a crystal or two for me. Yeah. And I hope they did. I think they did. I know they did. And he's just showing me the places that I want to get to at some point of my life too. So I was enjoying being along the journey with them. And their journey came to an end last week. And I actually thought that they were already in Ghana because they had said, oh, we got back to Ghana, but they weren't there just yet. And they called me last week and said, we need help because we're at the border and we're having some complications and we need you to look into this and help us to clear this border, right? So I spoke to them for a while, and this was actually, I think, my first time speaking to them. they called, right? So everything before was just like messaging and voice notes. So they called, and when they called, I was trying to get out a crystal message, but I said, all right, let me receive the call. And we were talking, and they mentioned a couple of things, and they said, hey, could you please help us? Yeah, so I'm like, okay, let me go to the deck. And as I was walking to the deck, to this spot right here, and that's also too why I decided to just do this taping right here, right where I receive so much wisdom and guidance. I'm usually here or outside, right? Or by the waters. But I do, especially my writing, I sit right here to put those crystal messages out. So I came to the table, and I was decided, hey, let me pull the ancestral decks. I have two new ones, so I use those. And I said, because first I was thinking sacred geometry, but then as I got closer, it was like the ancestors were just like, you better use us for this one. So I did. And I was guided to put the I was guided to put the layout in a specific way. And it wasn't until I finished or I realized, that's the Gemini symbol. So again, why in this season I'm putting it all together during this specific season, the Gemini energy and the Sagittarius energy. We're in Gemini energy being guided by the Sagittarius energy. And remember that Sagittarius energy is about the fire and the transmutation and fire and transmutation. So a lot is changing as we're in this Gemini energy. And the Gemini energy is also about duality. So everything's going to show up because everything is showing up. The beauty of duality is if you go beyond it, you realize, okay, it's everything. If you don't split it in half, that is just the part of the all, right? So as we're in this dual month, we can go beyond the divisiveness, sorry, and we can come into the whole form, right? And just seeing little things in its entirety, I think too, again, we're in the season of going up, and expanding out. That Sagittarius is about traveling too and expanding out, and the philosophy and the ideas and all of that. So we're changing and we're transmuting. So all of this as we connect with our ancestors. And so I did the reading for them, and the message was so strong that they were going through a rebirth. Like the rebirth cards came up, the number 44 card came up 3 times. I used 3 different decks. It came up 3 times. And it was nonstop. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh my goodness, go to the water. First and foremost, go to the water. So I told them to go to the water, and I said, and connect with your ancestors. And really in that, from what the deck was showing me, it was like, yeah, they're in a rebirth thing and they need to go to the waters. And I said, go to the waters and do some type of either connection or offering, or maybe just thanking your ancestors for this beautiful journey that you have been traveling with them. Acknowledge them, So make a long story short, they crossed the border and they did it at a less cost than they were being charged to cross the border before. And the number which showed up was 44 and then 1400. All right. So again, this energy of wholeness again. And the 144 equals 9, right? So again, that ancestry is coming in, right? symbolism, the numbers, the multidimensionality. Sometimes as you experience life, you can't just see the physical, but see the number energy, the color energy, the synchronicity, and that really helps you to understand the language of the ancestors as well. Because remember, the ancestors aren't gonna, they can do whatever they want to do, and they might show up in different ways. But if they're showing up in a non-physical way, it's the language of their language that you have to kind of understand, and learn to understand based on knowledge of self, right? And knowledge of your experience and how they might be trying to communicate to you, because they are you. You actually are them. So before I get into all of these beautiful experiences that people are having, not just me, people are having with their ancestors. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is because a lot of the times we experience the supernatural and the spiritual and we don't understand it and we fear it, so these gentlemen, they already have an ancestral connection. So me saying to them, go to the waters and connect with your ancestors, thank them, they're like, okay, we got it. But it prompted me too to go do the same thing with my ancestors. And that night I went to the water and I did my own libations for my ancestors. They went to their waters and they did their libations for theirs. And I went and I also connected with theirs, because there's something that we are going to do together. Okay, I just got a message with somebody saying there's no sound. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope this has sound. Ancestors, please let this have sound. This is my third take. I did 2 takes yesterday and it didn't record. So we'll just see what happens. But I do have my phone on silent now. So I am hoping that this is recording. If not, you know what? I'll just do it again. It's that type of week. Oh, the right message comes through, only the right message. So you just have to trust it, and you have to trust the setbacks. So so I want to read some stuff, because like I said, this thing is all about our ancestry and allowing us to know that during this season they really want us. This is the message I'm getting. Make a connection with your ancestors, however you feel comfortable in doing that, whether that is an altar, going to the water, lighting a candle, just saying a prayer. And, it could be where you need to make an offering to them, or you may to just say thank you, or just literally say, I realize that you are here with me. Michael Jackson's song, You're Not Alone. That's what that was about. We're not experiencing this whole thing alone. And so again, I'm saying thank you to everybody that included me in their journey over the last couple of days, trying to figure out, well, what does this dream mean, and why am I feeling this way, and why am I experiencing this? Because a lot of it is really our ancestors saying, come, let me guide you through this. You know what I mean? But I need you to walk with me. So the Gemini energy, and that's where the Gemini energy started coming in. And I was like, when I did the layout for them, the layout actually was the Gemini symbol, and I didn't plan it that way, but I was able to see that afterwards. And I said, yeah, it's about us not just connecting with our ancestors, but connecting with our ancestors in this season. And remember, again, the Gemini energy is duality, but the whole, it's both sides. It's the twins, right? And so let your ancestor be your twin in this season. Let that duality, let that twin, you're the visible, they're the invisible. The beautiful rainbow brings everything together. That's a beautiful thing with the rainbow. It brings the invisible into the visible, right? We go beyond the rainbow. We don't know what's there, do we? Right? But that rainbow shows us that there's a wholeness, but there's also beyond it, and under it because the rainbow is a full circle. Right. So I have these experiences with rainbows and they teach me things too, right? So that was one of the reminders too in dealing with ancestors, these rainbows coming through. And this week I had a lot of rainbows coming through in different ways, right? So connecting with ourselves really, because we are our ancestors. And I'm not going to be the first person to tell you that. That's something that we know. We know the blood running through us is my mother's blood, my grandmother's blood, my father's blood, my grandfather's blood, my great grandfather's blood, my great grandmother's blood. We know this, right? It's our biology, right? So I wanted to read some things from a couple of books that I am absorbing now. And it's based on something else that I'm working on, but it's about discovering your it's the cosmic discovery, the something I've been working on for the past year. And I'm building it, building it, building it. And as I it's a May thing because every May I started it last May and then this May I was guided to get back into it. But it's a couple of things that I've also learned along the way in terms of who I am, because the basis of connecting with our ancestry is also knowing thyself, right? The foundation of that. So I just wanted, and this is something that I was also sharing with a couple of people this week, so we understand when we're connecting to those that are already passed on. Again, it's a full circle. When your ancestors show up in the dream, it's you showing up in the dream, right? So that message is for you. It's another version of yourself saying, hey, this is what I need you to do, right? So beyond the guys that had were going across the border, there were another two people that I encountered. Both of them had ancestors that had passed on and they had a dream, and I was talking to it was somebody else's experience and they had asked for feedback and I was able to give my perspective. And then another day after that I was with somebody and they were talking about different things and I would say, well, maybe go to the water. And they said, you know what, mommy showed up in a dream. And I'm like, okay. And that person's mother had passed away a couple of years ago too. So again, the ancestors are coming through the dream realm. So if you're having a dream and ancestor shows up, what did the ancestor say to you? What was the relationship between you and the ancestor before the ancestor died? What do you even remember or identify that individual as in this realm, before they passed away? Because they might just be embodying that energy for you, especially in the dream realm. I've realized that when certain people show up in my dream realm, it's their astrology. Because I identify a lot of people like, oh, what's your sign? And if I know you really well, I'll be like, okay, well, she's a Leo. She's a Gemini. She's you know what I mean? So if they show up in my dream realm, it's like, okay, it's that Gemini energy. What is that Gemini energy and what was that message about, So that's how I decipher my own dreams. And if I have the opportunity to work with other people breaking down their dreams, that's usually one of the tools that I use. So who are we, and what are we made up of? So in terms of connecting with our ancestors, so I just want to, well, this is a book. I don't know if you can see it. I don't even think I need to read it. But basically, and this is a solar biology book that I've had for years. And if you can see it, you can see that you on top are a compilation of 16 people. All right. And those 16 people are your mother and your father. That's two. And then the four are your two grandparents, your mother's mother and father, and your father's mother and father. And then this 8 down here are the 4 great grandparents, right? your mother's, your grandparents, your grandmother's mother and father, your grandfather's mother and father, your other grandfather's mother and father, and your other grandfather's mother and father, right? So we all have this built-in 248 code within ourselves. Let's put it that way. And that 248 equals 16 equals you. All right. So that's one aspect of knowing yourself. So you're made up of these 16 individuals before anything else, right? Okay. Now I'm reading another book. And this book says, it's talking about, and this is Shabaka's stone. And I've had this book from like maybe 2 years. I haven't read it, but every now and then I'm like, something in here is for me. The dog in me sniffs it out. I'm like, something's in there for me. So this is what I came across just the other day. Again, this 248 code. And I'm going to read it. And this is about panspermia, a tomb's cosmic seed. And I'm not going to go into that whole thing, but I'm just going to read this right here at the bottom. It says, this process of halving, putting in half, halving, is at the basis of all pharaonic mathematics, as is confirmed by the famous text carved on the coffin of Pentamon, in brackets, Cairo Museum, number 1160. I am one that transforms into two. I am two that transforms into four. I am four that transforms into eight. After this, I am one again. I am one that transforms into two. I am two that transforms into four. I am four that transforms into eight. After this, I am one again. And again, I'm tying this also into what year are we in? 2024, which equals to 8. After this, I am one again, right? So we go into 2025, and that will be the 9 energy. 9 is all about who? Ancestry, right? All right. So it's a wave. We're heading towards something. We're building something. We're moving towards something. All right. So that's again 2, 4, 8. And I didn't pull it. But anyway, just coincidentally, my galactic signature, y'all know, if you do know, I follow the galactic calendar. My galactic signature is 248. Yellow magnetic star. So I feel really called to bring this information through. And this is my glimpse here on the galactic calendar. Yellow magnetic star, 248. And we are starting the crystal tone as of tomorrow, May 30th. Okay. So it's a lot of energy coming through, right? So it's 248. And guess what crystal came out yesterday as I was doing all of this? And I said, let me pull a crystal. Guess what crystal came out? The obsidian, the black obsidian. And I was like, the black obsidian. I wasn't sure if I had already done this crystal before. And I have. So I still looked at the crystal message today. And it starts off by saying, again, this is all about connecting with our ancestors. It starts off by saying, observing the self, self-reflection, know thyself. Obsidian. It says, when you look in the mirror, who looks back at you? How do you view yourself? Do you look into your own eyes and see someone willing to acknowledge the past and learn from it? Do you see someone willing to step into a new identity, one more suited to the life you want for yourself? all of us are ever changing and a mix of past, present, and hopes for the future. The challenge is to trust. I'll get back to that. The challenge is to trust that you are becoming that you yes, it says it like that, are becoming will be love. That that you are becoming, yes, will be loved, cherished, and supported, even if you are still just exploring your potential. Don't be afraid to explore. Still unfamiliar with the new territory you have entered. All right, so I know this video is probably going to be long because I can't do short things, apparently. Know thyself. So if you want more details, connect with me. I'll read it all out. Um, so yeah, so the messages all around us, past, present, future. Connect with your people, connect with your ancestors, wherever you are, however you do it. Like I said, you might have an altar. I go to the water, I light a candle, I they come through my dreams, the trees, the fruits, in the rainbow, I understand my ancestral language. It is hard. I understand my ancestral language. And, when I feel them, see them, hear them, I know, okay, y'all there's something that y'all want me to do. So I need to turn this light on because it's getting dark. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So, um, yeah, so let's get into the cards. So I think I've explained just the encounters that I've been having with a lot of people telling me, and it's not planned, or, I don't have a big sign on me that says, hey, your ancestors are coming through, but it's just been these random moments and encounters with people. And the solution has been go to the water and connect with your ancestors, right? So I think it's a collective, universal message. And I wanted to, for people that are not used to it, I just wanted to let people know that it's happening to so many people in different ways. So if you're having dreams or experiences or even blocks or difficulties, again, we're in this season where your ancestor needs to be your guide. And this isn't a new message that has come through me. Like, if you listen to my messages, I think it was 2022 where I woke up and I heard them saying, ancestors are now your gods. And part of this cosmic discovery package that I'm putting together is tapping into our ancestors. We have blood ancestors, we have astrological ancestors, which could be your cosmic ancestors or your galactic ancestors. We have such big identities. We're not just who we see. And that is, a big part of this message. And the 44, I told you guys that I kept on seeing that 44 number, and I'm 44 this year too. So the whole 44 code, that's why it's 44 crystal clarity messages, really tapping into that number of 44, because in that 44, you're not alone. You're working with a team. That's what it is for me. And the harmony, the 44 is 8. So that harmonious energy, that you're in harmony with the seen and the unseen. I'm going to go into the galactic calendar and that 248 code, which is my personal code based on my birthday, by the way. And the galactic calendar is another way that I step into my being and understanding who I am. So the 248, and I was just listening to something, and they literally were talking about the crystal tone being 12, and the other mental tones are the 2, which is the lunar, and the 4, which is self-existing. The 4, which is self-existing, and the 8, which is galactic. So that's where I was going with it. And the 2 is lunar. So even if I want to go back into the 2, 4, 8, lunar, when we think of the moon, what do we think of the water, right? And my astrology is fire and water. Again, know thyself so you understand what you are and how you integrate that into the soup, the cosmic soup around you, above you, right? Below you, within you. So that galactic 8, we're in this 8 energy now, tapping in to the harmony of ourselves, right? Who are we in a galactic way? That's the tone of the 8, you know? Is it there? That's the tone of the 8. The 8 tone is the galactic tone. I thought I had this ready for y'all. Right? So the 8th tone is the galactic tone right here, the blue, right? Harmonize, model, and integrity. What is the best way to take in everyday life to lead one to life's ideal? The best way is to consider harmony as the first principle to be observed, that in all circumstances and situations and conditions, one should try to harmonize with one's fellow creatures. Harmony is the most essential thing in life. In plain words, in harmony attracts in harmony, whereas harmony attracts harmony. All right. So again, when we're in this 2024, the tone is 8, the frequency is 8, and it's again harmony, it's galactic, it's also your team, right? And balance and coming into that fullness. It's also infinity, right? Infinity. So what is infinite? What is finite? You know, we could be the finite being, but our ancestral team that has already passed on, that's infinite. Our soul is infinite, right? So just so many different things. So many different things. And I really, really do hope that this is helping somebody connect with their ancestors during the next couple of weeks, you know, in this Gemini season. Again, let your twin be your ancestral team. I did do a reading because, like I said, I was like, oh, this is not just what he's going through or she's going through or whatnot. Like I said, I even did libations, went to the water and connected with my ancestors. So I knew, because I don't do it in that way like that. So, you know, for me to do that, and then this whole season has been a really beautiful month. May has been a really beautiful month, and I needed to say thank you too to my ancestors for all that they have been helping me with this month, right? I needed to honor them as well. So I did a reading, and I did it with the ancestral deck, and I want to show y'all what came up, you know? Okay, so this is the collective ancestral guidance, right? And the decks that I used was Wisdom of the Elders. And Secrets of the Ancestors. All right. And let me just get one. Keep this one. So what also is going on too, again, with the obsidian. Now the obsidian is protection. This is another aspect of it. And as I was clearing out some stuff yesterday, this fell out of a book, and it was protector. Then when I did the crystal card, it was protection, obsidian. I was like, oh wow. Right? So I wanted to talk about that. And then I also watched a video yesterday, and they mentioned something about it was Magenta Pixie's video. So if you tap into her already, you might have gotten the message. But again, it's the symbolism. And she ended up talking about ancestors, right? So I was like, oh my goodness, right? But she spoke about our ancestors being our shield. And I was like, yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. So as we connect and make this bridge with our ancestors, we are shielding ourselves. That shield, that blue, what was that? Galactic energy, the 8, it's blue. That blue energy, that armor, that shield, does that remind y'all of anybody? An angel, an archangel, right? So this morning, I had another encounter with the ancestors. And my phone decided to show me a picture from 9 years ago. I was like, oh, 9 years ago, was this 9 years ago? I didn't realize that one of my cousins had graduated 9 years ago, and standing on the side of him were his ancestors. His father had passed away, and his grandmother had passed away within the last 9 years. And as I was just delivering that picture and briefly speaking to him, I started to cry. And I just felt all of this ancestral energy again. And earlier today, my dad had sent me, I have it on my status, this beautiful graduation speech from a local student. And it was very powerful. And today I'm sitting here with ancestral energy just flowing all around me. And I'm like, the higher self, the higher education, the ancestors. So here's what I want to share today. Something else that I have come into, and I have the words to say it. That, in this virtual world, we'll say, the I am, the higher self, right? And again, we are stepping into a new territory, people, new territory. We're not doing it how we've been doing it, but we're going back to the ancient, wise, feminine era, right? Part 2 of this video, we're going back to the way the women did it, the wise women. We're going back to the matriarchal system, right? And the wisdom of that matriarchal system and the leadership of Mother Nature leading the way as opposed to Father Patriarch, logic versus intuition, black and white versus the duality and the multidimensionality of women, not duality, the multidimensionality of women, right? The fullness of our being, the creator and our ability to create and how we create through the womb. That's what we're going back to, the ancient wise woman, those ways. That is the awakening. That is the reason there's so much chaos from the patriarchy in power, because they don't want us to go back to those ancient wise women ways, right? And a lot of intertwining in that, right? Not just the woman identity, but the feminine aspect, which is in men and women, right? And just that nurturer and protector and warrior, right? Just the women were the warriors as well. So that's that Sekhmet energy coming out of me. Right, that fire. So I think I'm losing my train of thought, but yeah, so the ancestors coming through and us going back to the matriarch way. And I don't know if I was talking about my cousin. I think my cousin and his ancestors coming through and the video and the higher self, right? So, it made me think, again, when our people pass, they pass on, and that wisdom, if we've made that bridge, y'all know I collect feathers, but I had to go get my feathers today, right? The feathers falling from above. Like, who's doing that? Who's doing that? Who's leaving me feathers? Sometimes I open the books and um there are feathers in my books. There's feathers in my car. There's feathers all around me. All of these feathers that I've captured, falling out of the sky. Random people like, here, if you want it. Literally, I told the lady at the stadium, I said, oh, that's a nice feather. She said, here, you want it? She's like, she didn't know that I was a feather freak, right? So, yeah, so I thought about that today, and I'm like, the ancestors pass on. And when they pass on, they are above us, as above, so below. And our higher education, again, we call college higher education. We call this thing above us our higher self that is guiding us down, that is guiding us and giving us information, our higher self. So my ancestry is my higher self. My higher self my ancestry is a part of my higher self. And when I say my ancestry, I mean my blood ancestry, my galactic ancestry, my cosmic ancestry, all of that, which I am, right? The stars that I've come from, right? My solar biology, my galactic identity as well. You know what I mean? My galactic identity, my multidimensionality within me, right? So when I tap into all of that, that is above me, that has gone before me, then I am protected and shielded, right? And you see this? This is an angle, right? Doesn't it also remind you of the angel wings? And we've been calling them angels. Along the way, I've learned that angels are angles of light. So I'm like, yeah, angles of light above me coming down through my ancestry, right? And again, that blue harmony we've been saying what Archangel Michael is blue and he's our protector and our strength and all of that. And that really came from what? Our ancestry. And it's our ancestors that are walking on the side of us and protecting us and shielding us in those moments when we don't understand how we're being shielded and protected, right? Because what does it say? Know thyself. The protector is, I wish I had it in front of me, the black obsidian. Tell you, that's my couch. So ain't nothing too far. The black obsidian is the sign of protection, right? Oh, tourmaline. In my head, I was saying, I even wrote black obsidian. So this is even better because I was thinking this wasn't the crystal. But and you see that says it's like we can't let you go too far saying the wrong crystal girl. Go look this up, go get that bag. So it's the black obsidian. I keep on saying obsidian. I got pull up some obsidian, but it's the black tourmaline of protection. So that protection enemy, that protection energy, again, is all around us. Be protected. Even when we messing up, look at me messing up on the video, but I'm protected. As soon as I come out with the crystal, it's like, yeah, it's the black tourmaline. Make no mistakes. And if we make a mistake, it's okay. It's truly okay. Can laugh it off, laugh at ourselves, right? So the black tourmaline, and black tourmaline is one of the most powerful protection crystals within the crystal kingdom. It draws divine light from the universe and directs it into the darkness. It brings light to the shadow as it illuminates and awakens the wisdom of the void. As the light meets the darkness, it protects all in its presence. It offers a protective shield around the aura, allowing you to feel safe and grounded, dissolving any negative energies in the field. So it is a great crystal to have around computers and other electromagnetic devices, making for a healthier environment. All right. Powerful grounding and protective crystal dissolves stuck or dormant energies in body and auric field, strengthens and protects the aura, and assists in creating appropriate boundaries in your life, right? So the black tourmaline is coming through, and guess what? This is going to be the 28th crystal, right? And that rainbow picture they showed me was on the 28th. So again, these numbers, and see, literally, like I wrote black obsidian. I wrote black obsidian and I crossed it out because I was like, no, we've already done the black obsidian. So we can do the tourmaline. So then the 28th crystal is tourmaline. And that's why I laughed when the thing said trust, because it is trust. So the rainbow code, the next rainbow code, you guys get the first peek into the next rainbow code. The next rainbow code is the rainbow of trust is protection. Feeling protected, you know, the rainbow of trusting is knowing that you're protected. Yeah. You know, or I could even switch it up and say the rainbow of protection is trust. But we've had protection come up earlier and recently. So there's a lot of protection energy around us again, which is why I'm saying these ancestors are coming through, connecting with us, trying to say, you gotta walk with me now because I am your protection. All right. And the stag, like I said, like I didn't post hard. I didn't pull this card or anything. I opened a book and it was there. And it says, you are an old soul. Your best friend is nature. Use your intuition to take you where you want to go. Awaken to the powerful force within you. And you are meant to create blessings with your magic. Yes, I am. All right, done. Thank you, ancestors. All right, so I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna end this one here so it's not too long, and just let this be the message. And if you really, really want to know what the reading was, because I did a reading around it, I'll just show you a sneak peek, and I'll do a separate video for the reading because I really think the message that I needed to get out, the storytelling part, is done. And the only thing I haven't come across is that other book that I'm digging into, which also has a 248 code that I wanted to mention. So maybe, like I said, I'll separate the video. I'll do another one so it's not too long. With the actual reading, I will show y'all a little sneak peek. So if you want to come back for the reading, you can. And the 2, and I did it as 248 too. So anyway, I'll show y'all. So this might intrigue you guys to come back and listen to the reading, which I hope you do. It's a beautiful reading. But again, it is just a support to this message because it happens, and then it's either it's happening in my life and then I go to the deck and the deck confirms it, or I'm looking for what the guidance. And because I've had that guidance, when it happens, I'm like, okay, I understand this a little more because I was already shown that this is a possibility. So that's why I love the cards, and that's why I go to the cards a lot. All right. So what did the cards show us? First one up, leadership. I'm not going to go into it. Second one up, rise and shine. Third one up, root of fire. Fourth one, the monarch. The next deck. First symbol, No, that wasn't the first one. The drum. Second symbol, nope. Second one was sweetgrass, which means strength. Third one was cleansing, sage. And the fourth one was the bear, bravery. And the 2, because I said, let me do a 2, 4, 8. I got to have this 2, 4, 8 energy here. Fast, calling us to our holy longings. And number 8, alchemy. All of the elements with you in the center. All right, so I'm going to do the reading and get into the cards next. I hope you join me. But if you don't, whenever you get to it, it is divine order and divine timing because it is what it is. Everything's not for everybody. So if this is for you, come on and get your reading and see what your ancestors are trying to say to you. It's good. Is good. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. I love you. And connect with your ancestors because guess what? They love you more. Yeah. Your ancestors love you way, way, way more. Bye. And do your ancestral shadow work. Do your ancestral clearing. Oh, yeah. So that's a big part of this ancestral thing, too. Because a lot of people are like, well, I don't know if I didn't know my ancestors. I don't know all of my ancestors either, but they know me, right? As well as do your ancestral clearing. I did my ancestral clearing 3 or 4 years ago, as well as, it's a constant, this thing is a constant walk, so, but do your ancestral clearing because that helps you to clear through your shadow work. Again, that shadow and that light, that's all you, boo-boo. All right, bye. Check out the video. I'm going to do it right now. Bye.